The ES Horizon drifted silently through the Kuiper Belt, its sensors spread wide like an electronic net catching the faintest whispers of deep space. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the research vessel's observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the distant stars. After 15 months of searching for extraterrestrial signals, the ship's quantum arrays had finally detected something extraordinary. Dr. Chen called Lieutenant Rodriguez from his station. The signal's getting stronger. Whatever it is, it's big, and it's coming straight for us. Sarah's heart raced as she pulled up the sensor data. The approaching object defied conventional physics, moving through space in a way that suggested technology far beyond human understanding. This was it, humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. All stations, full alert. Captain James Walsh's voice echoed through the ship's comm system. Maintain passive scanning only. Let's not spook our visitors. The crew watched in awe as a massive vessel emerged from what appeared to be a tear in space itself. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. The alien ship dwarfed the horizon, making their research vessel look like a mere toy in comparison. "They're broadcasting," Rodriguez announced, his fingers dancing across his console. "The computer's processing it now. It's a language package. They want to communicate." Sarah leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overtaking her caution. "Let it run through the xenolinguistics array. We've prepared for this." Within minutes, the ship's AI had processed the alien language, creating a rudimentary translation matrix. The first official words from an alien civilization came through their speakers, but they weren't the message of peace and fellowship humanity had hoped for. "Primitive vessel," the translation began. "You have been scanned and cataloged. Your technological level has been assessed. The Meridian Empire claims this sector and all its resources. You will submit to immediate quarantine and preparation for integration." Captain Walsh's jaw tightened. "Open a channel," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "This is Captain James Walsh of the Earth Science Ship Horizon. We are a peaceful research vessel. We request clarification of your intentions." The response was immediate and chilling. "Your species' primitive development makes you unsuitable for equal status within the Empire. You will be contained and guided toward appropriate advancement under our supervision. Resistance will result in immediate neutralization." Sarah's mind raced as she processed the implications. The Meridian Empire wasn't interested in peaceful contact. They saw Earth as nothing more than a resource to be exploited, its people to be subjugated. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, his voice tense, "they're powering up some kind of energy weapon." Captain Walsh's response was immediate. "Emergency protocols. Activate the quantum burst drive." The Horizon's experimental engine roared to life, tearing a hole in space-time itself. It was untested technology, developed in secret by Earth's best scientists, but it was their only hope of escape. "They're firing," Rodriguez shouted. The alien beam struck empty space as the Horizon vanished, leaving behind only a quantum echo. When they reappeared several light-years away, the crew knew everything had changed. Humanity's dreams of peaceful first contact had been shattered, replaced by the stark reality of a hostile universe. Sarah stared at the sensor data they'd gathered, her hands trembling slightly. "Captain," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "their technology, it's advanced, but it's not unbeatable. There are weaknesses in their approach to quantum mechanics, gaps we might be able to exploit." Captain Walsh nodded grimly. "Send everything to Earth Command. They need to know what's coming." He turned to address the entire bridge crew. "What happened here today changes everything. Humanity just became aware of a threat to our very existence, but we also gained something valuable. Knowledge of our enemy before they realize our true potential." As the Horizon limped back toward Earth, its crew knew they carried with them the seeds of humanity's greatest challenge, and perhaps its greatest opportunity. The Meridian Empire had dismissed them as primitive, but they would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength lay in its ability to adapt, to innovate, and to overcome seemingly impossible odds. Earth would have to prepare for war, but it would do so with advantages the Meridian Empire couldn't imagine. They had revealed their intentions too soon, underestimating the very species they sought to subjugate. In the coming years, humanity would show them the cost of that mistake. Sarah turned back to her station, already formulating ideas for new defensive systems based on what they'd observed. The Meridian Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species, but humanity had always thrived when faced with existential threats. They would take the Empire's arrogance and turn it into their greatest weakness. The game was on, and humanity would play it their way. The underground facility stretched for miles beneath the Atacama Desert, its existence unknown to all but a select few. Admiral Sarah Chen, no longer the young researcher she had been during the Horizon incident, stood before a holographic display showing Earth's solar system. Red markers indicated suspected Meridian Empire scout positions, growing more numerous with each passing month. 50 years, she murmured, touching a control panel to zoom in on Jupiter's orbit. They gave us 50 years to prepare, and we've used every second of it. The door slid open with a soft hiss, admitting General Marcus Rodriguez, her old crewmate from the Horizon, now Earth Defense Forces head of operations. His hair had gone gray, but his eyes retained their sharp intensity. "The latest intel just came in," he said, joining her at the display. "Their invasion fleet is gathering at the edge of the Oort cloud. Conservative estimates put their numbers at over 3,000 ships." Sarah nodded, unsurprised. "And they still think we're blind to their presence. The quantum masking field is working perfectly." Project Thunderbolt had begun the day the Horizon returned to Earth. While the public remained unaware of the alien threat, humanity's best minds had been secretly working to transform their civilization's technological capabilities. The Meridian Empire's arrogance had given them their greatest advantage: time. "Show me the Artemis array," Sarah commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying a network of satellites hidden throughout the solar system, each incorporating technology reversed engineered from the brief encounter with the Meridian ship. "All stations report ready," Marcus confirmed. "The quantum entanglement network is stable. We can deploy the entire defense grid within seconds of your command." Sarah walked to another display, this one showing the crown jewel of Project Thunderbolt, the EDS Prometheus. On the surface, it appeared to be a primitive exploration vessel, exactly what the Meridian Empire would expect from a developing civilization. But beneath its mundane exterior lay technology that would change the course of history. "They expect us to be using fusion drives and basic particle weapons," Sarah said, pulling up the ship's specifications. "They have no idea we've mastered quantum field manipulation, gravity control, and consciousness-linked targeting systems." The Prometheus represented humanity's response to the Meridian Empire's threat, not just matching their technology, but surpassing it through unique innovation. While the Empire had relied on brute force and established scientific principles, humanity had explored paths they'd never considered. "The civilian evacuation protocols are ready," Marcus added. "At your signal, we can move 90% of Earth's population to the shielded underground arcologies within hours." Sarah's mind drifted back to that day on the Horizon, when they'd first encountered the Empire's arrogance. They had dismissed humanity as primitive, incapable of meaningful resistance. That assumption had been their greatest gift to Earth. "Update from the Quantum Intelligence Division," a young officer announced, hurrying into the room. "The Empire's invasion fleet is accelerating. They'll reach Saturn's orbit within 72 hours. Sarah straightened, her decision made. "Initialize Phase 1. Begin civilian evacuation procedures. Activate the Artemis array, but maintain quantum masking. Let them think they're surprising us." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden strength stirred to life. Quantum computers processed battle scenarios at speeds the Empire couldn't comprehend. Consciousness-linked pilots merged with their ships, achieving reaction times that would seem impossible to their enemies. "What about the Prometheus?" Marcus asked, knowing its importance to their strategy. "Have Captain Chen prepare for launch," Sarah replied, thinking of her daughter. Commanding humanity's most advanced vessel, the Empire expects to find a primitive species struggling with basic spaceflight. Instead, they'll face an opponent who has spent 50 years preparing specifically to defeat them. The holographic display shifted again, showing the approaching Meridian fleet. Their ships moved with obvious confidence, maintaining tight formation with no attempt at stealth. They expected no meaningful resistance. "They think they're coming to subjugate a weak species," Sarah said, her voice hard with determination. "Instead, they're about to learn why humanity has survived every challenge it's ever faced. We don't just adapt, we thrive on adversity." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses waited in perfect silence. The Artemis array stood ready to turn the very fabric of space against their enemies. The Prometheus and its sister ships concealed power that would shatter the Empire's assumptions about human capabilities. Earth appeared vulnerable, primitive, exactly as the Empire expected. But beneath that carefully crafted illusion lay 50 years of preparation, innovation, and determination. Humanity had used the Empire's own arrogance as a weapon, and soon they would understand the true cost of underestimating Earth. "Send word to all commands," Sarah ordered. "Operation Thunderbolt is now active. When they cross Saturn's orbit, we show them exactly what humanity is capable of." The countdown to humanity's greatest test had begun. The Meridian Empire was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one you've already dismissed as harmless. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the EDS Prometheus, watching the Meridian invasion fleet approach through Saturn's rings. To their sensors, the Prometheus would appear as nothing more than a primitive research vessel, its quantum-masked systems invisible to their scans. "Enemy fleet holding position at designated coordinates," her tactical officer reported. "They're launching scout vessels. Looks like they're following standard Imperial protocol, establishing a beachhead before the main assault." Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Empire's rigid adherence to protocol was another weakness they would exploit. Status of the Artemis array. "All nodes charged and ready, Captain. Quantum entanglement field is stable. We can trigger the network on your command." Through the view screen, Maya watched the Imperial scouts weave through Saturn's rings, their ships' iridescent hulls gleaming in the planet's reflected light. They moved with obvious confidence, unaware they were being watched by far more than a single primitive vessel. "Message from command," her communications officer announced. "Admiral Chen sends the go-ahead. Let them see what humanity can do." Maya took a deep breath, thinking of her mother's 50 years of preparation for this moment. "Signal the fleet. Operation Thunderbolt begins now." Throughout Saturn's rings, hundreds of quantum-masked human vessels suddenly revealed themselves. The Artemis array activated, creating a massive quantum field that transformed the very nature of space around the Imperial fleet. The reaction was immediate. "Imperial vessels are powering weapons," Tactical reported. Wait, something's wrong with their systems. Their quantum signatures are destabilizing." Maya nodded grimly. "That's what happens when you encounter physics you don't understand." Launch fighters. From the Prometheus and its sister ships, squadrons of consciousness-linked fighters emerge. Their pilots, minds merged with their craft through quantum interfaces, moved with impossible speed and precision. The Imperial scouts, their systems struggling against the unfamiliar quantum field, never stood a chance. "Imperial command ship is broadcasting," communications reported. "They're demanding our surrender. Should I respond?" "No need," Maya replied. "Let's show them our answer instead. Prometheus actual weapons, online." The seemingly primitive research vessel transformed. Quantum fields shifted, revealing the true nature of humanity's flyship, advanced weapon systems, beyond anything the Empire had conceived, powered up. Multiple Imperial vessels breaking formation, Tactical announced. They're trying to retreat. The quantum field is interfering with their jump drives. Maya leaned forward in her command chair. Target their command ship. Show them exactly what they're dealing with. The Prometheus's main weapon fired. Not a conventional energy beam or projectile, but a focused stream of quantum manipulation that bypassed the Imperial shields completely. The massive command ship's hull simply ceased to exist where the beam touched it, its matter converted to energy in a controlled cascade. Imperial fleet is in chaos, Tactical reported, a note of satisfaction in their voice. They're attempting to regroup, but our fighters are keeping them separated. The Artemis array is preventing any coordinated response. Through her neural link to the ship, Maya felt the battle as much as saw it. Human fighters danced through the quantum-disturbed space, their consciousness-linked pilots adapting instantly to the changing conditions. Imperial ships, relying on conventional tactics and technology, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Message from the remaining Imperial vessels. Communications called out. They're requesting terms. Maya straightened in her chair. Put me on broadcast. When the channel opened, she spoke clearly and firmly. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You entered our solar system with the intention of conquest, believing us primitive and weak. That assumption has cost you dearly. These are our terms. Immediate withdrawal of all Imperial forces from the Sol system. You will carry word back to your empire. Earth is not a prize to be claimed. We are not primitive, and we are not defenseless. The response came quickly. The remaining Imperial ships, those that could still maneuver, began retreating. Through Saturn's rings, the wreckage of their fleet drifted, a testament to the price of underestimating humanity. Command reports similar victories across the system, her XO announced. The Imperial fleet is in full retreat. Casualties on our side are minimal. Maya nodded, but kept the Prometheus at battle stations. This was only the beginning. The Empire would return, but they would return knowing that humanity was far more than they had assumed. The next phase of the war would be different. They would face an enemy who finally understood their true capabilities. Send word to Admiral Chen, she ordered. Phase 1 complete. The Empire has learned their first lesson about humanity. Now we prepare for their response. As the remaining Imperial ships disappeared into the darkness of space, Maya watched Saturn's rings shimmer with quantum energy. Humanity had revealed itself not as the primitive species the Empire expected, but as something far more dangerous, an opponent who had turned the Empire's own arrogance into a weapon against them. The real war was just beginning. The Imperial High Command Central Chamber on Meridian Prime had never seen such chaos. Holographic displays showed the devastating defeat at Saturn from every angle, while urgent reports streamed in from across the Empire's borders. High Commander Vextal, his crystalline exoskeleton dulled with stress, watched the recordings for the 100th time. Impossible, one of his advisors muttered. Their technology. It contradicts everything we know about quantum mechanics. No, Vextal replied, his voice heavy. It contradicts everything we thought we knew. The humans didn't just match our technology. They surpassed it, and they did it right under our surveillance. A new alert flashed across the displays. Imperial border stations were reporting multiple quantum disturbances. The humans weren't waiting for the Empire's response. They were taking the initiative. Aboard the EDS Prometheus, Captain Maya Chen reviewed the tactical data from their advanced scouts. The quantum entanglement network now extended well beyond Sol, allowing real-time coordination across light years. Status of Operation Lightbringer, she asked her XO. All task forces report ready, Commander Jackson responded. The Empire's border defenses are exactly where their protocols dictate they should be. They haven't adapted yet. Maya nodded. The Empire's rigid hierarchy and standardized responses, once sources of strength, had become vulnerabilities. Signal all commands. Execute primary offensive. Across 20 different star systems, humanity's forces emerged from quantum masking. The Empire's border stations, designed to detect conventional threats, never saw them coming. Within hours, humanity had established control over key strategic positions throughout Imperial space. Back on Meridian Prime, Vextol received the reports with growing dread. They're not just defending. They're executing a coordinated offensive across our entire defensive line. How? The logistics should be impossible. New data from Sector 7. An analyst called out. The humans, they're not using normal space for communication or travel. They've created some kind of quantum entanglement network. Distance means nothing to them. On the Prometheus, Maya watched as the Empire's carefully ordered defense grid collapsed into chaos. Status of civilian populations in target systems. All secured, Captain, Jackson reported. Our quantum fields are protecting Imperial civilian centers. No casualties. This had been a key part of humanity's strategy, demonstrating not just superior technology, but superior ethics. Every operation was precisely calculated to minimize loss of life while maximizing strategic impact. The Empire's response fleet is mobilizing, Tactical announced. But they're following standard protocol, massing for a large-scale counterattack rather than adapting to our tactics. Maya allowed herself a small smile. They still don't understand. Size doesn't matter when you can control the fundamental forces of space-time itself. The Imperial counterattack, when it came, was massive. Thousands of ships gathered to crush the human offensive. But they were fighting an enemy that had spent 50 years preparing specifically for this conflict, an enemy that had turned their own assumptions against them. Multiple Imperial task forces approaching through hyperspace, Tactical reported. They'll emerge in 3, 2, 1. The Empire's ships appeared in precise formation, their weapons charged and ready, but they emerged into space that humans had already altered at the quantum level. Their advanced drives stuttered, their weapons failed to function as designed, and their communications were twisted by fields they couldn't detect. Message from Admiral Chen. Communications announced. Operation Lightbringer Phase 2 is authorized. Maya nodded. Deploy the quantum cascade devices. Throughout the battlefield, small devices activated, creating a ripple effect through space-time. Imperial ships found themselves fighting not just human vessels, but reality itself. Their technology, based on conventional understanding of physics, proved useless against weapons that rewrote the rules of space. Imperial command ship is broadcasting. Communications reported. They're requesting a dialogue. For the first time in its history, the Meridian Empire was forced to acknowledge that they weren't the supreme power they'd thought themselves to be. The humans, whom they had dismissed as primitive, had not only matched their technological level, but had discovered entirely new principles of physics. Put me through, Maya ordered. This is Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We are prepared to discuss terms. The response came from Vextol himself. Captain, we acknowledge your tactical superiority. The Empire requests an immediate cessation of hostilities and the opening of diplomatic channels. Maya shared a look with her crew. This was the moment humanity had prepared for, not just winning the war, but reshaping the galaxy's power structure. Agreed, she replied. But understand this. The era of imperial dominance is over. Humanity stands ready to help build a new order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect rather than subjugation. As the quantum fields stabilized and weapons powered down, both sides knew that nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The Meridian Empire had awakened a sleeping giant, and in doing so, had triggered their own transformation. 1 year after the Battle of the 20 Systems, the Great Hall of Earth's Unity Station hummed with activity. Representatives from 100 alien species gathered beneath its quantum crystalline dome, including many who had once been subject to imperial rule. Admiral Sarah Chen, now Earth's chief diplomatic coordinator, stood at the observation deck, watching ships from across the galaxy dock with the massive station. Quite a change from hiding in the shadows, Marcus Rodriguez remarked, joining her at the window. Hard to believe it was just 50 years ago that we were scrambling to prepare for invasion. Sarah nodded, watching as a Meridian diplomatic vessel gracefully maneuvered into its designated berth. They're quick learners once they get past their assumptions. The Empire scientists have already begun collaborating with ours on quantum field theory. The Meridian Empire's defeat had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The revelation of humanity's technological achievements had shattered centuries of established power structures. But instead of using their advantage to establish dominance, humans had chosen a different path. Ambassador Vextal has arrived. An aide announced. A council session will begin shortly. Sarah smiled at the irony. The former High Commander had become the Empire's strongest advocate for cooperation with Earth. His experiences during the war had transformed him from a believer in Imperial supremacy to a champion of collaborative development. The council chamber filled quickly. Maya Chen, now Fleet Admiral of Earth's expanding defense force, took her place beside her mother. The quantum displays activated, showing real-time images from across human and former Imperial space, where joint projects were already transforming both civilizations. The Galactic Council is now in session. The chairman announced. Today's agenda: the ratification of the Sol Accords and the establishment of the Galactic Cooperative. Sarah stepped forward to address the assembly. 50 years ago, humanity faced a choice. When we discovered the Empire's intentions, we could have retreated, hidden ourselves away. Instead, we chose to prepare, to advance, to push the boundaries of what was thought possible. The displays showed images from the various joint projects, massive quantum engineering works, new transportation networks that utilized human quantum entanglement technology, and research stations where scientists from dozens of species worked together to unlock the universe's mysteries. But our greatest achievement wasn't technological, Sarah continued. It was learning when to show restraint. We could have used our advantages to establish a new empire, to become what we had fought against. Instead, we chose to offer partnership. Vextal rose next, his crystalline form catching the light. The Empire's greatest error wasn't underestimating human technology. It was failing to understand human nature. Where we saw a species to be subjugated, we should have seen potential allies who could help us transcend our own limitations. The quantum displays shifted to show the latest joint venture, a massive project to establish stable quantum corridors throughout the galaxy, making instantaneous travel possible for all species. It was just one of many initiatives that combined human innovation with Imperial resources and the unique perspectives of other alien races. The Sol Accords, Maya addressed the assembly, represent more than just a peace treaty. They're a commitment to a new way of thinking. No species has a monopoly on innovation or wisdom. Only by working together can we achieve our true potential. The voting began, with representatives from each world registering their decision through the quantum network. The outcome was never in doubt. The benefits of cooperation had become clear to all. The Sol Accords are ratified, the chairman announced. The Galactic Cooperative is hereby established. As celebrations broke out across the chamber, Sarah found herself thinking of that day on the ESS horizon, when humanity had first faced the Empire's arrogance. They had turned that moment of crisis into an opportunity not just for humanity, but for all species. "Mother," Maya said quietly, "the quantum sensors are picking up something interesting from the galactic core. It looks like, well, we're not sure what it is yet." Sarah smiled. Some things never change. There would always be new mysteries to solve, new challenges to face. But now, humanity wouldn't face them alone. They had helped forge a coalition of species united not by force or fear, but by shared curiosity and mutual respect. "Assemble a research team," she replied. "Make sure to include scientists from all member species. Whatever's out there, we'll discover it together." As the council session concluded, ships from across the galaxy prepared to depart Unity Station, carrying with them the news of the historic agreement. The age of empire had ended, replaced by something far more powerful, an alliance of equals, bound together by the very qualities that had allowed humanity to survive its greatest test. The stars beckoned, filled with new mysteries and challenges. But this time, they would be met not by separate species competing for dominance, but by a unified galaxy ready to write its next chapter together.